The Faber-Castell TK9400 is purpose-built to do one thing, and it does that one thing absolutely wonderfully. Let's dive deep into this and see the good, the bad, and the ugly of this pencil. I've got two variants here, one with B and the other with 2B. So at the outset, you can see that the lead grade indication is hard coded, is printed on the pencil. So it does not have the option to change the lead grade indicator as you may find in some of the Staedtler pencils. And it is closer to how the Mitsubishi Uni pencils have printed lead grade indications. So this is the Mitsubishi Uni MH500. This also has the lead grade printed, while the Staedtler 925 has a very nice solution with an indicator next to the grip which gets locked. It's a different design philosophy for these. However, this means that you will have to buy a different pencil for each lead grade that you plan to use, which is a bit cumbersome. The Uni at least gives you different colored end caps, as you can see in the video review that I've done for this pencil. Faber-Castell does not even do that. In terms of how the pencil looks, it carries forward the brand identity from the from the Faber-Castell 9000 wooden pencils. So you can see that it's a similar dark green color with bright golden film or foil, which gives it a very plush, very premium look. So full marks for how this pencil looks, and it is thinner than your typical wooden pencil, very, very marginally, but it is. And more than that, it tapers in the front as it goes up towards the tip of the pencil. The grip section, the plastic and the paint actually are quite grippy. You do not have to worry about your hand sliding on this paint. Closer to the grip, in case you want to hold it here, they've given these horizontal grooves to further support a better grip on the pencil. That said, this taper comes with its own challenges, and we'll talk about it once we come to the writing section of this review. Separately, it does not have any roll stop or a clip on it, so you can't really clip it onto your shirt pocket or jacket pockets. However, the sides are nicely faceted, so in most cases, you don't have to worry about this rolling off the desk or the surface on which you're working. The facets are pretty stable. In fact, the facets are just down the middle towards the end. You'll see it goes back into a circle just like it does in the front. The chrome is nice. It is not as glossy as the one you get in uni, but this goes well with the overall aesthetic of the pencil. More about the features. The end cap does not come. This end is very. These caps are very firm. It's. Let me just move the lead in. So that's another thing that happens with drop clutch type lead holders. The end caps stay further depressed when the lead is out and when the clutch mechanism is gripping onto the lead. Let me just show you once you put the lead inside, you see it comes out all the way. So, and now when you pull this out, it is still a bit heavy. It's still a bit tight. Also, this tube inside seems to be brass, and this is made with very fine tolerances. You will see that this is just about 2 mm, and what it does is, you see this, there's barely any clearance between the lead and the sleeve in which the lead travels, the inner tube. And what that does is it has its pros and its cons. The benefits are that the lead does not shake inside the pencil, which prevents breakages over time if you're traveling with this pencil. However, at times, since there can be a partial airlock, the lead might not always come out instantly like it did right now. It tends to get stuck at times. That's okay, you just shake it a little bit and it comes out. So it's not really a challenge whatsoever. Also, when we saw inside, let's get this one also open. No end cap, lead pointer, no eraser, and the spring seems strong and durable, so it should do the service for extended years. Should not be a challenge. Let's come to the writing part of this pencil. This is the Faber-Castell TK9400. It's a drop clutch type lead holder. I in fact have 2B lead in the 2B pencil, so this is another thing you'll notice. The FC LEDs are probably a shade lighter than the industry standard. So if I were to actually grade them or rank them, let's just do a quick shading test. This 2B writes closer to a B than an actual 2B. When you put a lot of pressure, it does put down a lot of graphite. However, if I populate them in increasing order of darkness, from my experience, we put Staedtler as the middle of the pack, the Uni and Kitaboshi, and maybe generally speaking, the Japanese LEDs tend to be a shade darker. Faber-Castell tends to be a shade lighter than the mentioned grade on the lead. This is actually similar to how in fountain pens you have a a Japanese medium is equivalent to a European fine. So there are varying standards, and that's the is that an oxymoron? No, that's not an oxymoron, but that's an internal contradiction because you can't have varying standards. A standard by definition needs to be consistent, but most companies take their own leeway around how they want to follow these notations. Anyway, I guess these HB and B, H and B grades are generally more guidelines than laws, so it's okay. Though it would be nice to have some degree of standardization around these products. Coming back to the review of this pencil, what it does well, what it does not do well. Let's come back to how we were talking about this being purpose built for one function. How is the focus doing today? It is not focusing very well. So, if we talk about how this pencil is for writing and for drawing, and for writing, we look at two parts for short writing sessions and for long writing sessions. Drawing will include both drafting, technical draft drawing, and the works. As always, the scale will be from 1 to 7, with 1 being the lowest and 7 being the highest. For short writing sessions, like I am talking to you right now, this is okay. I would say it's somewhere around 5. However, for long writing sessions, it is not the ideal product. So, if you want to sit and journal or take extended notes or just jot down your thoughts or think through on paper, this is probably not the best pencil for you. I'd give it somewhere between 2 and 3. And that is because of the same problem that the Rotring 300 has. So the Rotring 300 also has a slight taper, and the same thing is even more pronounced on the TK900. The front just gets a bit too narrow for it to be enjoyable and usable for extended drawing sessions, extended writing sessions. However, as we discussed in the opening segment, it is purpose built to do one thing, which is to for drafting or drawing, and here it is just unbeatable. It is a magnificent tool and it delivers every single time, whether you're drawing, sketching, drafting. This will get the job done. Now, since all 2 blade holders come with one lead inside, there is a constraint in this that it does not have a lead pointer. So if you're buying this, you would want to get yourself a sharpener or a lead pointer, something like this KUM automatic long point if you prefer longer points, which is something that is recommended for a pencil which is primarily used for drawing or drafting. If you prefer shorter points, you should get something like this, which is the Uni 2 lead sharpener. The reviews for all of these products are already on the channel or will be there shortly. I will link to the playlists where you can find all the relevant products in case you want to take a look. It is of course compatible with the Staedtler 502 rotary tub sharpener, and if you want something more portable and smaller, you sorry for that. If you want something more portable and smaller, you can also consider getting something like this, which is the Otto brass lead pointer. This is again a very interesting product. Now let's move to the final to buy or not to buy recommendation. This one's going to be slightly complicated because okay, this is the buy and this is do not buy. The current prices, at least in India, have gone absolutely insane for these pencils. And I am not joking when I say that the current price point is 10 times what it was when I bought these pencils 2 years ago. So I really do not think that the prevailing price point of about 3,000 to 4,000 rupees or about 30 to $40 is a fair price for this product. In fact, when I bought it, I got it for about 350 to 400 rupees, which is $3.5 to $4 or euros. A rupee is approximately $100 or euros. So maybe wait. If you continue to get the extremely high price points, it might not be worth buying. However, please note these are 2026 prices that I'm talking about. Depending upon when you're watching this, inflation would have normalized it a little bit. So 10 years from now, maybe $30 could be the right price point for this pencil. So at 2026 prices, the recommended price should not be more than $5 to $6 or euros. And then you can adjust these for inflation. If you get it significantly higher than this, maybe wait. It could be a symptom of the current geopolitical situation, which is leading to supply constraints, which is then leading to increase in prices on the online portals. Check out some offline stores, your local stationery shops if they have stock. They are generally kinder and do not inflate prices as erratically as some of the e-commerce platforms tend to behave. Or it could just be one of the bot things where the bot, each seller's bot looks at the price of the other seller and comes back and increases it by 1%. And then it just all keeps increasing until you reach the insane prices of $30 for these pencils. Don't buy. If it's $30 in 2026, skip. There are much better options. Maybe once the production or logistics bottlenecks get resolved, the prices will come down. If you're able to find these at reasonable prices, again, check your use case. If your use case is around drawing or sketching or drafting, this is a wonderful product to have in your arsenal. However, if your primary purpose is long writing sessions, then avoid, because it will cause a lot of pain at the back of the wrist, at the back of the index finger, because the front end is just too narrow to grip. So maybe give this a skip in that case. And if you just want this as a pencil to carry with you for quick notes and sketching and a mix of both, then decide as you wish. That, my friends, is all I have to say about this. Thank you very much for your time. Do let me know your thoughts on the products on this Faber-Castell 9400 TK9400. And in case you're interested, I will leave the links to all of these products in the description and the first pinned comment below. As always, thank you very much for your time. That was extremely clumsy. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.